All right. Anybody got anything that they'd like to present briefly? I know Bob had something that he talked about on the SVFig email list.
Yeah,
Zoom coming up. Did you want to announce that? Take a minute to
yeah.
tell us about
Well,
it.
one of the things, let me share my screen. And I hope I've got this big enough. Most fundamentally, one, actually, if you look my updated homepage, um, understanding by whoever wrote this description of CoSy at this Lambda conference, I've got their T-shirt on. One of the perks, along with my keyboard. But I've started having every Tuesday I plan to have Zooms, and the first one was last Tuesday, and it really I hardly got any announcement out for it. But the Zoom actually goes through. Oh, there's my. Anyway, it actually I think goes through a lot of useful stuff. Starting up, but the next one next Tuesday is going to be. I've got it linked. I just need to upload this, but here's the link, and this will be connected real soon. I've got it out in some emails, but I really am. It's looking at. Oh, the other thing is, I've created a page, Techie Dome CoSy, and oh, I haven't gotten. Oh, boy, I didn't know that I'd uploaded this. No, I guess this is full of editing. One of the things is it's interesting that Alan Kay gave a talk at APL 40 or 79. A lot of famous people did. Alan Perlis, a bunch of others. It was really quite a thing. Guy Steele, but I just was happened to go and pull that up. But in any case, now and there when I posted some things, this was one of those Connor Dykstra or Connor Hoekstra's things. But in any case, now if anybody wants, has stuff to post or to reply to things, Techie Dome is now up. And anyway, those are essentially the announcements. One of the things is you can go to the pages and see the links to the Zooms. But it really is the case. Again, I really think that the perception of, and I've been working on connecting with these people that the guy who runs the Lambda conference, and now that something called Golem, and actually I'd like to get Brad's view of Golem. Can send a link on that, but it's one of these things.
How's it spelled? Can you type it in the chat? Golem, like
GOLEM on LinkedIn. They just yesterday announced Golem 1.0 as a universal sort of a underpinning for all super reliable cloud apps. So actually, I think what you're doing is closer to my understanding than what they're doing. But I'll tell you, getting together, a whole thing here, because I think this ability to go and bridge from these array level languages where these things, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of the language in CoSy is about slicing and dicing. Well, it does numbers, but really much more of it is doing things like conversion of any damn format you have and to any other format. Like I say, it's something I'll be working on tomorrow is accounting. Always got. I mean, accounting is the most fundamental thing for any prize of any substantial. But and this is the link to my talk there. But again, I think actually this solo first went through an awful lot of the material on it, and there's some others, but in any case, um, that's all I really wanted. And anybody got any questions or comments? Definitely open. Okay.
Can't hear you, Kevin.
Put your URL in the chat, please. So you remember the guy with the bike? The name of the bike was Behemoth. It's a fascinating reverse mapped acronym. And I put his name and the URL of his website on the chat. Did you hear that?
Yes.
What a relief. All right.
Bob,
Somebody
Bob,
asked for Bob.
next to CoSy, what is that crystal looking thing? I can't hear you.
Like you to unmute. I'm sorry, I muted and I still was, I didn't realize that I was looking at my screen. And so
okay. We're asking about your logo, that crystal lattice structure.
That's whoops. Something that came up in I actually have been involved in more APL level talks, because there's a sense in which, well, it's a bridge. So I get to the British APL Association meetings. I get to the Bay Area group, Bay Area Bay users group, the APL Bay users group, which is right in your neck of the woods. And also I got to the Japan APLKJ group, which is 4 a.m. my time, 3 a.m. yours, last week. But the issue of I mentioned that actually in my Zoom, this Zoom, I go through. I think one of the things is it's sort of the age of YouTube is hitting some boundaries. But because my thing popped up there, I go through in 1979. Which I've already done. I learned APL. I was in visual psychophysics working on a PDP-8, but also on the CDC 6600 mainframe. And in any case, I learned APL, and I was losing my tenure in grad school because I learned some undergrad physics, which was, or statistics, similarity classes of matrices and things like that, and it's in pattern recognition and so forth, which is really, it's the mathematics of AI now has evolved from that. And I really look forward to somebody who wants to do some, the algorithms of AI and short bits of CoSy, but open, so that Don Golding can go and implement them at the FPGA level. But in any case, I solved sort of to show that I was not crazy. I went and solved the minimal paths around n-dimensional cubes. And on the way to do that, to solve that, which is a few lines actually, it's at that time about 10 lines of APL. But I also solved n-dimensional simplices, minimal paths around n-dimensional simplices. So that happens to be well, actually, I'll leave it as I've only run into a couple of people, one of whom is one of the people in the math department or in the computer science department here at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, who instantly knew how many dimensions it is. But I'll give you a clue, look at a corner. But in any case, yeah, I solved minimal paths around arbitrary dimensional cubes, and a simplex is essentially the generalization of a triangle or a tetrahedron. So both of those, the links are you go to read my Vita, go to click my Vita, and you'll see all of that. This picture here, by the way, is right across the street from where I lived for 20 years. When I ran against Gerald Nadler in 2000, and he's still there in Congress. So anyway, but this has got all history.
It reminds me of my father. Go ahead.
What?
Finish your thought.
No, I was just going to say one of the things is this mentions when I learned of Forth when I was consulting in Rochester, and it's sort of my from then on my immediate thought was okay, damn, here's a language in which you can create more language. Well, obviously the language to create is APL level language. So, I mean, and then, yeah, anyway, you can go and read that. But these are the things, this was my vision of for the world. I mean, again, I lived, well, the view, I lived right here. If you can see this picture. And so when the World Trade Center got blown right across the island from me, this was my notion for that would be scalable to, well, a couple of thousand meters if you want, but just essentially a structure in which you could essentially hang whatever you want, but also forming a very strong structure. So solving the parts list for that was in K, which again is simplified from traditional APL, but current CoSy is far, far simpler and it far, far, far more flexible than that, because the open Forth and just the simplicity, the tick in Forth. But watch my last my first Tuesday Zoom, and it talks about how bloody simple the Chuck Morse simplicity makes the whole thing compared to the path that APL has taken to. Now they spend you got to learn such complex syntax to get anything done, where RPN is just so simple, with the tick saying, just give me the address of the next word. And I definitely see these people when I go and I show the machine language, the x86 code for some word that's sort of like, Jesus, you've got something in APL where here, this is the machine level, code. This is it's unique.